Hey everyone, it's Mike here, and today we're going to switch things up a little bit. No company scale system today. Today we're going to be playing Crusade and Revolution. This is the second edition of the game. If you're not familiar, and the board isn't a giveaway here, or the title of the video, whatever I end up titling it. It is a game about the Spanish Civil War from 1936 to 1939. It's a game by David Gomez Rayoso. And I'll be upfront, it's a very good game. I like it a lot. I'm not very good at it, but it's a lot of fun, and it's a little bit different than the more tactical games that we've been playing. This is a card-driven game. It's, to borrow a term, the Paths of Glory certainly borrows a lot of concepts from games like that, and the old We the People, which I think was a Mark Herman game, Ted Racier's Paths of Glory, that family of games, I've played a lot of them, and this will probably be a series on my channel. I love Paths of Glory. I love For the People. I am really bad at that game. But Pursuit of Glory, the Near East, Middle East version of the World War I path system. Let's see. I like Empire of the Sun a lot too. That's a little bit different than this. Well, maybe a lot bit different. But one of my favorite ones that I would really like to cover is Triumph of Chaos by David Doctor. He's also making a game called Triumph of Fascism, which, not to give this game away, is, based on the Spanish Civil War. I highly recommend that game. I picked that up last year, and it was one of my favorite games of the year. So I am looking forward to getting back into that one too, now that the living rules have been published. So I'll probably do all of those, and whenever they submit a module for Brotherhood and Unity, which I got and have had a lot of fun exploring so far, probably play that too. But that's a lot of talking about games that aren't Crusade and Revolution. So there's a couple of different things that are unique about this game. So I'll zoom out a little, even though it'll probably be hard to see. Let's see if we can find something right in between that. Okay, this is decent. Actually, so let's hide the pieces. So what's unique about this game, on a couple of different levels, is it's a really non-traditional frontage. Sometimes you have your guys on your side of the map, I have my guys on my side of the map, and then we clash, and maybe we try to find a way to outflank or anything like that. Or if you're playing like an operational game like World War I, maybe you're Germany and you're beset on all sides. Or maybe you're playing a game of the American Civil War, and you're getting chased through Virginia and getting nibbled at in Tennessee and Mississippi. But this, you have a northern front, right? And that's kind of the regional Santander, Basque, Asturias. You also have the Catalonians in the northeast. You have really the Republicans occupying the central position, but they are kind of caught up by the Nationalists. The Nationalists can kind of drive a wedge and start isolating. So it may be a central position, but it's certainly tenuous. The Republican side receives material support from Spain, and that could be isolated. The Nationalists receive support from Portugal, and that can be isolated. Although I've found that that's extremely difficult to do, because the Nationalist is pretty much in the driver's seat from the get-go. So the board position is really unique. There's a decent amount of Chrome, and it's not anything overwhelming. But being that I haven't played this game in a year, so I might mess up a little bit. There are special rules about Republican attacks, penalties on Republican attacks. But basically, unlike Paths of Glory, where you start off with armies and divisions, in this game you start with, armies and corps. In this game you start off with divisions, and as the game continues, sides begin to mobilize, and then you start to see these higher echelon units. And in this game they're represented by corps. But it works much the same way as it does in Paths of Glory. You fire on the better table, and they have, generally speaking, a higher loss number. They're higher to replace, but in a game where many of the units are divisional level, having only a couple of those are very powerful. So that's fairly unique. So I guess we might as well just get into it. We'll probably just stick to a single turn for right now. I did do a couple of action rounds before I started this game, just to kind of refamiliarize myself, but what I like to do, especially with games I haven't played in a while, is I do a turn or two. Before I do anything, I read the rulebook. I play a turn or two just to kind of get back into things, then I set it up and start over. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So sometimes, you can't let your fear of the game ever prevent you from playing the game. If you've followed my account, that's kind of what I said about Empire of the Sun. And the Grand Tactical series is, those are games that I thought that basically I was too stupid to play, if we're being completely honest. But you break it into little manageable chunks, you just start making moves, and maybe they're not 100% correct, but the point is to get playing, right? And then, once you're playing, then you can, learn and figure things out, develop strategies. Now that I've unclicked this, I'll just go over a couple of things before we get started. So the Nationalists have the Army of Africa units. They're very powerful, they're non-replaceable, they have lost priority, and they get these automatically. So it starts ratcheting up the pressure very quickly on the Republican player. There's these isolated spaces which the Nationalist wants to try and relieve. They get bonuses for relieving. There's these sieges that the Republicans want to reduce. If they can reduce them, or at least hold out their relief, they avoid penalties. These silver spaces are worth morale, and morale is important because if morale dips too low, Republican morale, or goes too high, there's basically a threshold. It's kind of like the progress of the war mechanic in Empire of the Sun, except it'll lead to automatic victory. Otherwise, at the end of the game, you just tally up points, and depending on where the VP is, you either win or you lose. Gold cities are worth victory points. Main cities also impact your replacements at the end of each turn. Yeah. Um, Republic or nationalists need to attack Madrid. They need to make moves for Madrid. There's an ammo shortage until the fronts are linked. The Northern Front nationalists can only activate one space for attack per turn until these fronts are linked. So that's a priority. We can probably do it in the first turn or two if we spend our resources that way. Yeah, that's about it for right now. There's lots of twists and turns as the game goes on. So I think the best thing we can do is just get started and bear through any mistakes that I might make. Okay, so the game has to start with an event, and it's the Nationalist Air Bridge event. This starts the Air Enforcement's Air Bridge from Africa. And basically, I read in the designer notes that basically this is the African army, basically rebelling against the government, and with the help of the Italians and Germans, begins airlifting back into Spain. The designer note cites it as the first example of an air bridge. Basically, the Republican Navy remained loyal to the government and prevented sea transport. But yeah, so it's pretty creative thinking. Okay, so we're activating Sevilla and one additional space. Each activation can be for movement or for combat. So let's see, where are our move? Yes, here we go. Now, here's the thing. I will try my very best with the pronunciations. I'm not perfect, but I will try my very best. I try to avoid saying this space or that space because it doesn't take, I don't think it takes an undue amount of effort to try and learn the spaces or learn the names and the pronunciations. But that being said, I am not perfect. Okay. So we can activate Sevilla and Huelva. Yeah, see, Huelva. I'm already breaking my promise here in record time. Okay. Let's take a look. So Sevilla is a pretty good place to start from. And we'll start with an attack. And what we will do otherwise... Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty straightforward attack. It is 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's pull out the charts. 7. Sevilla's attacking across a river, but since the other space is not attacking Rio Tinto, the shift is ignored. So, 7 to 1. Let's see. Does the Nationalist have a combat card they'd like to play? the only combat card they have is against a Republican attack. So let's check out the Republican hand. They can add a +1 DRM. Well, it's probably not worth it, because they're probably going to get wiped pretty quickly. Can't imagine that we're going to win this combat. If it was something we were... Well, let's just look at the... Yeah. So 7, they're guaranteed at least a 2. And we are on the 1, and we can't get a 2. So it's just not going to happen. But we might get a 1, so we have a 50% chance of reducing the AFR unit. Is it worth it? Because then we can make it a 66% chance. No, let's save it. Let's leave our options open for later. All right, so we're gonna roll it, and we're going to go attacker first always. Okay. So attacker first. So we get a 4, and defender gets a 5. So it is 3 to 1. So the African army takes the first loss per the loss priority. This unit is eliminated, so it goes to the eliminated box. And then, now that they are eliminated, we can advance. So the difference between the loss numbers is 2, which means that they can advance 2. So what we will do is let's see. I'm just thinking. Oh, okay. Since they were eliminated, we can only go into here. Okay. So let's, might as well delete it, since there's nothing else we can really do with it. Okay. So now we're back to the Republican. Now there is a rule that says we can only advance into 2 spaces that are not controlled by us at the beginning of our turn. So if we do that on so basically, here's one move the nationalists can do. They can go 1, 2, 1, and then say 2. We could potentially isolate this unit. And if it's eliminated while isolated, it is permanently eliminated. So it is a supply risk. So a better move might be to withdraw it to Zafra. But if we do that, we do give up our river crossing. Let's check out the Republican player hand and see what they have. No pass on. We can stick the trench in Madrid, that's nice. Soviet military aid, that's a 5-banger. We can't play that on the first turn, so we could save it. It might be a good idea. We can place a position marker in up to 3 spaces occupied by supplied Republican units. It's not bad. We can make next winter especially harsh. Long and short of it is if you don't know, in winter, only 3 cards you play may be for operations. If it's a severe winter, only 2. So it kind of slows down the game a little bit and gives the Republicans some breathing room, hopefully. Our combat card, -1 VP, War of the Columns. We can't play that in the armies phase, so we'll be sure to do that during mobilization. or by mobilization. And then foreign political support. We have 5 turns to play this card, because it may only be played in the War of the Columns phase. So pretty urgently, we need to figure out what we're going to do with this unit. And then we will probably also want to try and find somewhere where we can hit back. My personal philosophy is that the best way to take pressure off in a game like this is to apply pressure somewhere else. It's just a general rule of thumb. Let's see, we have a couple of units in reserve that we can SR out, so that might not be a bad idea. SR is -1 on the first turn or two, I remember that. But what is the rate? Alright, 1.1 unit. Okay. It is tough. It is tough. Okay, but here's what I think we're going to do. We are alright. So we are going to play Severe Winter for operations. Now, there is something to be said for culling this card from the deck so you don't play these low 2-ops cards over and over again. But here we go. We'll do it for ops. A lot of times I tell you the better course of action to do, and then I do something else. That's just kind of how my brain works. You know, it's that I know I shouldn't do this, however. So we're going to move in Santa Olaya, and Valencia. So Valencia will move to Rubielos de Mora, so we can kind of threaten Teruel. So we'll delete that, and then over here we'll delete that, and we will just kind of slink back 1 here. And it kind of broadens the front. I don't know. It may not be great, but it's an idea. Okay, so we'll discard this. Alright. So then we'll go back to the Nationalist. Okay. So the first thing we do is we get another Army of Africa unit, and it may arrive at Sevilla or Cadiz, so we'll stick it in Sevilla. Alright. So then we can't play this card just yet. Actually, a couple of these we can't play just yet, but we will start with that one. We'll probably look to play Franco Takes Command as an event, because that allows play of this one, even though we might use this one or this one as a replacement point card. I don't know. We'll see. So second card is for operations. And we'll go Sevilla. Let's see. Let's attack here. Vayiba to Castro Paul. There, fairly confident. It's just a high die toss. Actually, let's attack from. Yeah, that's probably the best place to do it. So that's 2. It's the only one we can activate for attack up there. We can still activate for movement. Let's go and let's try and juggle around. We can move from here, Valladolid, and let's go. Oh, we gotta be careful. Maybe we can't move that. These are all balanced on a knife, so to speak. Let's go back here. We'll activate this space for movement as well. And we'll activate for movement here. Alright, so here are attacks. So Nationalist has no combat cards for an attack. Republican does have the plane card, and actually they will play it here. So let's go to the charts. So again, attacker first. Basically this is going to give them even odds. So attacker first, and then defender. So attacker rolls a 1, which is a no result, and defender rolls a 4, which is a 1 result. So that actually worked perfectly for the Republican, and would have even if they hadn't played the card. So they take a loss, and the Republicans take none. So we'll leave this on the table because they can play it again. So it'll be something for the nationalists to consider for the rest of this turn. Alright, so this police unit is going to try and entrench. So a roll of 3 or less, they entrench. No. We can place that, however. And then negotiating this mess. So let's try... Let's try an entrenchment here. Position, excuse me. 3 or less. Okay. There are a limited number of position markers. We have 8. This is ideally to keep us from getting outflanked. And while we could do one in Sevilla, I am reasonably confident about its security. So we will discard that, and it's back to the Republican. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So, Republican player hand. Let's play the Fortified Positions event. And let's see. Okay, so we have 12. Let's go. This one's pretty critical for our defense. 1. Stick 1 here. 2. And then Han for 3. Alright, so we delete that. So now we're back to the nationalist. Let's play Franco takes command. We'll just get that out of the way. I hope, I hate to, I mean, it kind of feels like we're sort of ceding initiative here, but we don't have any emergencies to try and deal with. Now, the Republican player hand. Oh boy. Let's play this card for replacements. So that'll be 3 RP, and we mark that here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So then back to the Nationalist. I mean, taking replacements does seem like a good idea to do it when you can. So that's another 3 replacements for the Nationalists, so they're not falling behind there. So what does a position do again? Position 1 left. So that would be cumulative with the mountain, so 4, 5, 2 shifts left is 3. Yeah. I mean, that's not terrible. But it is the Republican turn, so what am I thinking? Let's see. Let's try and reduce this siege here. We'll just do a 1-up. Alright, and the modifiers for reducing the siege are -1 on the first turn. Or +1 on the first turn. And then -1 by having multiple division size units. So 1, 2, or 3 does the trick. Boom. Alright. So that is taken care of, and that goes to 0, so we can delete that. Republicans don't get anything, but they do prevent the Nationalists from getting anything from that. Okay, so round 5, so we start with another Air Africa unit, or Africa unit, Army of Africa. So let's go. Let's do operations. And we will move here and here. And then And then we'll try here. Alright. So Sevilla, we're moving out. We're going to move right here. Then Cordoba, we'll try for the position. That time we do get it. So we will place a position. Okay. And we're going to try one here in Priego de Cordoba. 1 to 3 will get the job done. Great. Okay. 2 actions left for the Republicans. Let's go back to their hand. Let's do this for strategic reinforcement. So let's take these 2 here, and we will move them seeing the writing on the wall. We'll move these 2 right into here. So it's 8 with 2 shifts left is 5. And 3. 5 versus 3. Makes it decently even. We have one more that we can do, and what I want to do is I'm going to get him to Valencia. Take him out of Madrid. I'd like to get these 2 units to Majorca if possible. Yeah. Okay. So we discard that. And then the Nationalist 6th action round and final. Let's play that, and let's just go here and here. So again, this is on the 5 column versus the 3 column. So attacker first. The Republican will of course play their card. So attacker rolls a 1, defender rolls a 3 modified to 4. So that is 1 modified to 4, 1 to 1. Okay, so now we do the nationalist attrition segment, and we have special rules for the isolated spaces, so they are okay. There are no other units there in isolate or out of supply. Okay. So we then go to the Republican player for their 6th card. I guess we can discard this now. And we have 1, 2. Yeah, we have 3 RP we can spend, so there's no reason in spending any more replacement points. So let's see. We could take a stab at the Alcazar. What do we have in our hand? Yeah, actually let's get this out of our hand. We'll play the Madrid Trench and get that played. So we can place that there and place the other in any one space adjacent. Yeah. So this will be a terrible spot to attack. You have 1 shift left for the mountains, 1 shift left for the special space, 1 shift left for the trench. So you can, and then add 1 shift right for the Republicans. So it's going to be a tough spot to take. Okay. All right. So then we do the Republican attrition segment. And they are okay as well. So then we should check our tables for what's it called? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Republican morale and victory points. I don't think that there's anything that would take effect. Yeah. So then there's no automatic victory check on the first turn. So then we go to replacement phase. So Republicans go first. So let me just double check really quick. I think stuff from the eliminated box goes to the reserve box. But I'm not sure. Yes. So this is a whole 1. 1.5. Two. And I think we will have to lose the 3rd. We play the replacement card pretty early in the turn, and of course, you always you don't know how vicious that first turn is going to go. Nationalist forces were probably a little timid in hindsight. Okay. So then the Republicans, they also have 3, so they can go half, 1. I want to say that there was something about getting replacements in the northern zone. I guess not. So yeah, we'll go 2. And then we can replace that for 1. Or replace this. I think what we'll do is we will... Yeah, I guess replacing Granada makes the most sense. That's a full point for 1 flip. Okay, that's 3. So then we can move both of these back to 0. No one wants to return any trenches. We don't have to do isolated spaces until turn 5. Nothing with sieges until turn 6+. Game does not end, so we'll move it to turn marker 2. Alright. Okay. So let me just grab these and grab these. Alright, so Nationalist is a little slow out of the gate, but that's okay. Alright, so this was good fun. I'm gonna get back to this game soon. I'm gonna take another trip through the rulebook, so I don't have to look anything up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this game develops. If you enjoyed this and want to leave any feedback, anything I could have done differently, any bonehead moves I made, let me know. If there are any games that you would like to see played, you can certainly ask me. If I have it, I would add it to my list. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Something, again, a little bit different than the tactical games that I normally do, but I do enjoy my card-driven games, so looking to do a game of this and then probably move into Triumph of Chaos or Brotherhood and Unity if the module is published. So again, this is Mike. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.